दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ Verse 291 कृतकृत्यतया तृप्तः प्राप्तप्राप्यत्रया पुनः तृप्यन्नेवं स्वमनसा मन्यते सौ निरन्तरम्। So Jnana Yogi, this Jnani who has practiced this Atmanatma Viveka, this kind of a format where he has learned to use Atma, the I, as the very Sakshi of everything, which is ever free, which is just consciousness, pure consciousness. And he equates himself with this Sakshi Chaitanya. And because of this practice, Nididhyasanam, etc., two types of anxieties have come down. Anxieties is born either for sadhyam or for sadhana. So anxiety caused by considering moksha as a sadhyam. That's what our seeker has. Vedantic seeker has an anxiety, not for anything else, because he has, and he might have done even a Purushartha Viveka also. So he may not have anxiety for money and other things. He may not have anxiety for sensual pleasures also. Person may have a vairagyam, but he may have an anxiety for moksha. Why? Because I am a seeker, moksha is sought. And therefore there will be always an anxiety. When will I get moksha? So basically anxiety caused by considering moksha as a sadhyam. And the other anxiety is anxiety caused by sadhana. Anxiety caused by, varieties of the karma based. Anxiety is based on that, considering it as a sadhana. So sadhya based anxiety is, constantly being concerned about when will I get moksha and what sadhanam should I employ, which are the means which are most effective to gain moksha. That anxiety also is there. So this both, considering moksha as a sadhyam, also anxiety, and considering means for moksha, there is an anxiety. And this person, who or Jnani, definitely he does not look upon himself as a sadhaka, seeker. There is nothing sought. Moksha is not sadhyam. And there is nothing sadhanam for that. And so both anxieties are removed pertaining to sadhyam and sadhana. Anyway, because moksha is understood as one's own sarupa. That is what we call Jnani. So when moksha stops to be sadhyam, well, there is no sadhanam left. So then whatever activities are done by him, they are basically, they become a, sharing resources, his resources with the world. So no question of improving sadhanam, no question of looking upon something as sadhanam. Anyway, so Vidyaranya says in verse 291 that both sadhyam and sadhanam, anxieties are gone for a jnani. And so that is how there is a relaxation. That is called trupti. That is the final stage. Trupti, right? We have seen that anuchvara nivrutti, shoka nivrutti, and the second is a trupti. This is trupti deepa prakranam. There are a few verses now left. So this is called trupti, where there is a relaxation, total relaxation, because there is an absence of an anxiety. An anxiety is always caused by sadhyam, looking upon something as a sadhyam. Here, of course, moksha, or looking upon something as a sadhana. It is not there. Seeker will always have his anxiety. When seeker understands that I am the very sought, that clarity brings an end to anxiety. So, kritakrityataya sadhanani, one who is free from all sadhanams. Kritakrityataya, krityam, something is to be done. So that is kritam. So I have to do that for moksha. I have to. That is gone. Prapta prapyataya. Prapya means sadhyam. Krityam means sadhanam. Prapya means sadhyam. So kritam krityam. What means should be employed, he employed. Kritam means now there are kritam krityam means for him there are no sadhana. Not that well he now employed various means, etc. Well, all this is within an empirical world. So some reality regarding, like jnanam, we call it as a sadhanam, jnana yoga, karma yoga, all that. But it is within empirical world. For him now, well, it is not there. So praptam prapyam. Because what is prapyam, what is sadhyam is praptam. So moksha is my sarupa. Sarupatvena praptam. Trupyan. So kritakrityataya, prapta prapyataya, trupyan. Now jnani is completely relaxed. And when he is relaxed, well, he will sing. People, sing out of joy. So what kind of a song? I have not seen such a elaborate description of a jnani's songs. He becomes a singer. He joins a musical band and he sings something. That is the description now in the end of this chapter. We have in Taittiriya Upanishad, etat samagayan naste havu 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 ahamannam 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 ahagashloka krut ahagashloka krut ahagashloka krut, etc. etc. Very few lines. Here he says very beautifully. So Jnani sings, Vidyaranya paraphrases this, his Ganam, well, of a now in few verses. So asau means this Jnani, Swamanasa manyate, he assesses himself. Nirantaram eva, always. He assesses himself always in following manner. In which manner? Verse 292 to 297. Is his assessment about himself. While singing, he assesses himself. Very beautiful. Verse 292. Dhanyoham nityam swatmanamanjasa vedmi dhanyoham brahma nando vibhati me spashtam. So let us imagine a hall in which in a stage there is in the hall there is a musical program and there is an audience and there is a musical band. And in musical band or this group, well, all Jnanis are there. We should understand that way. And they start the program. They start singing. Dhanyaha aham. I am indeed rich. See, dhanyam means dhana yogyam. Dhanyam. Prapta yogyam prapyam. Kruta yogyam krutyam. Right? So, ninda yogyam nindyam. So, dhanyam means dhana yogyam, fit for the wealth, means rich. Dhanya aham, I am indeed rich, wealthy, I am indeed fortunate. Dhanyaha is equal to dhanavan, basically. In Sanskritam, if you want to translate Dhanyaha, is equal to dhanavan, dhani also. All possessive affix you can take. So, aham dhanyaha, I am very fortunate. So, I mean, what big fortune you have? You have earned so much of money or gold or what? No, 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 no. Na choraharyam, na cha rajaharyam, na bhratrubhragyam, na cha bharakari. Vyaye krute vardhate nityam, vidyadhanam sarvadhanat pradhanam. It's very beautiful. So, na choraharyam, no, 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 my wealth, my fortune cannot, nobody, no thief can take. Na cha rajaharyam, government cannot take away. We will do some income tax rate. No, 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 they cannot do. Na bhratrubhragyam, well, it will not be shared with the other brothers. I have to share, oh, this is inherited. No, no, no. Na cha bharakari. And such a fortune I have, but still there is no burden. More the money, more the burden. Where, how to invest and what not. All kinds of burden and fear will be there. Na cha bharakari. Bharam karoti iti bharakari. So, well, it doesn't, this fortune, I have so much fortune, limitless fortune I have. But there is not a single, I mean, iota of this burden. Vyaye krute vardhate nityam. Vyaye krute. When I spend more and more, well, vardhate nityam, always. And what is that fortune? Vidyadhanam. I gain this knowledge. Sarvadhanat pradhanam. Compared to any other wealth, compared to any other fortune, well, compared to any other riches, this is the best. In Trishanku also, in that Shikshavalli, aham vrukshasya kirtif prushtangireriva, etc., etc. I'm just reminding you. So, he said, I have got this infinite wealth of knowledge, which cannot be stolen, etc., by anybody. Aham dhanyaha. Then he says, nityam swatmanam vedmi. I nityam swatma, vedmi. Vedmi means I know and claim. Nityam swatmanam. I claim this limitless Brahman as myself. Anjasa. So, I claim limitlessness, wholeness. Anjasa. Aparokshataya. Anjasa means quickly, means as myself, very closely. Means aparokshataya. When I claim Atma as myself, well, I have to claim wholeness as myself. Because basically, Brahman is a word, used by the Shastra for revealing oneself as a whole. That's how Shastra uses the word Brahman, not for any other purpose. Basically, Brahman is a word used by the Shastra for revealing the Atma, the self, as whole. That's it. So whenever Brahman word comes, you should understand I am whole. And therefore, well, that is how, and that wholeness only is experienced in every experience of a joy. Either you take a deep sleep state, or either you take a moments of joy in a waking state. It is just a wholeness, which is the Swarupa of this Brahman, Atma. So, and Swarupa Sukha alone is the Sukham that which is not experiential. In fact, that is a Sukha that is recognized as the nature of, in every form of Sukha. In any form of Sukha that you are getting, this Sukha is there as an essence, truth of that experience of happiness. Well, because of that Swarupa Sukham, the wholeness, which is the nature of self or Brahman, well, that alone is present. So he claims, well, he says, Nityam Swatmanam Anjasa Vedmi. So, well, I claim Atma as myself, means he claims Ananda as myself. So, Dhanyoham, Brahmananda is very clear to me as my Swarupam. This Anubhavananda, etc., I mean, this is experiential Ananda is say subject to arrival and departure. Then it depends upon kosha, depends upon many factors, depends upon mental condition. Very first thing, depends upon mental condition. Mental condition should be proper. Then only you will be able to enjoy. The desirable object plus desirable environment in a mind will give you joy. Desirable object but undesirable, unfavorable condition in the mind, no joy. So this is the thing. So all conditional. Experiential Ananda is conditional. Experiential Ananda is born and gone. Whereas Bhagavan says, Atyantam sukham ashnute. Sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam. Atyantam sukham. Antam atikramya iti atyantam. Unfortunately or fortunately, today morning also we discussed. But anyway, we have to little discuss this. So, atyantam. Antam atikramya vartate. Iti atyantam. Atikramya, transgressing antam, end. So there is no end. All experiential Ananda will end. It will end. It is within time, and therefore it is non-eternal. But in every this sukham, there is something which is nityam, and there is something which is truth, which never goes, and that is the self, the wholeness. The wholeness never goes. Swamiji, I have experienced joy, but there was no wholeness. No, sir. That's not. In any moment of joy, there is wholeness. No complaint pertaining to the world, no complaining pertaining to me in that moment. If there is no complaint, then definitely there is no limitation you are feeling also. If you are feeling some kind of a limitation, you will definitely complain. If it is for yourself or for the world. Anyway, so that is the moment of joy is where there is no complaint. Neither for the oneself, neither for the world. So there is experience of wholeness. So wholeness does not go away in any moment of in any experience of a joy. That is Nityam. That is Atma. Please understand this. I mean, I should not say you people are very senior, but my point is more and more clarity pertaining to this. Vairagya is very natural. Vairagya becomes very natural. Even if you enjoy anything in the world, you know you are enjoying yourself. Honestly. Atmani atmana tushta. This is the reality. There is no other reality. Reality is this. Atmani atmana tushta. I enjoy myself. Even in so-called sensual pleasure also. That is the thing. Anyway, this is just by the way. So, I mean, other than that, so-called experiential Ananda it ends. It has varieties of the conditions. All those conditions are there, mental favorability and external desirable object and so many things. Then only that Ananda arises. And in that also there is a Taratamyam. Priya Moda, Pramoda, etc. also is there. Experiential Ananda is always this degree. Whereas in Swarupa Ananda there is no degree as such. So, Spashtam me vibhati. So, this Nityam Swatmanam Anjasa Vedmi Spashtam me vibhati. I claim this Ananda, the wholeness, as my Swarupam. Wholeness can never be born, naturally. Wholeness can never be limited by time. Wholeness means it is not limited. Wholeness can never be limited in space, in a particular place. Wholeness cannot be conditioned cannot be limited by any kind of condition, situation. That is the Brahman, which is limitless in terms of time, place and condition, situation. That is Brahman, no limit. And therefore the wholeness is equal to happiness, is equal to fullness, Purnam, is oneself. And as such also it should be myself. Because if it excludes me, there is no Purnam. Brahman cannot be an object. If Brahman is an object and I experience Brahman, then definitely that is not Brahman. That is not Brahman. Brahman means wholeness. Wholeness means it should include me. Therefore I am Brahman. That's the thing. I am Brahman. Anyway, this is just by the way. So these all things is very clear to such a person. So dhanyoham, dhanyoham, dhanyoham. Spashtam me vibhati, he says. Oh, this is very clear to me. He really wonders at his own knowledge, honestly speaking. He wonders at his own knowledge. How did I miss for so long? Anyway, verse 293. Dhanyoham dukkham samsarikam navikshedya dhanyoham sasya ajnanam palayitam kvapi. I mean, there may be meter little difference, but this is a tune I know now. Anyway, so dhanyoham, well, means I have a sense of fulfillment. Why? Because dukkham samsarikam, all forms of dukkham, is belong to anatma. So they have a jvara. Samsarikam belong to samsara, is called samsarikam. Right? And so dukkham is samsarikam. Dukkham belongs to samsara, means dukkham belongs to anatma. Samsara samyak gacchati iti samsara, which very well goes, anatma goes. Only world goes. Name and form constantly undergoes change. That's called samsara. Then, but samsara means dukkham, Swamiji. This is just name and form, that is a Ishvara ultimately. Correct? Very true. Very true. Somebody said, when I said samsara means this world, he said, Swamiji, that's not correct. And next moment you are going to say this is Ishvara. So Ishvara is samsari then. No, that's not true. But this same anatma, the name and form, you identify and gets anujvara. They have a jvara. They are kshanika, they have a birth and death, and they are constantly coming and going and all that. They are limited in time, place, condition, all these things. When you identify the jvara belong to anatma is your jvara, that's called anujvara. So anujvara nivrutti. Tamvidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangitam. Bhagavan said, this is the yoga. Yoga means not, it is a sanyoga. It's not a sanyoga. Yuj dhatu means to join. Sanyoga. Yoga is a sanyoga for the whole world. For Bhagavan, yoga is a viyoga. Dukkha viyoga sanyoga. There should be a sanyoga of yourself for the dukkha viyoga. You should join with dukkha viyoga. That's your yoga. Then you become a yogi. Dukkha viyoga means this jivatma bhava. I am limited. So body, mind, sense complex. Well, I am body, I am senses. I am as good as dimension of I am possessed of certain attributes pertaining to the body, mind, sense complex. All this, well, is called anujvara. Anujvara nivrutti. There is no sanyoga with the body also. So, well, definitely. Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam. I'm sorry. So, viyoga to dukkha sanyoga. Viyoga to ultimately anatma. Anatma, you have a sanyoga with the anatma, tadatma. And that too, tadatma is there with this anatma, then that is, well, you cannot do anything. But basically, that is a tadatma adhyasa. Because they are mithya. And you are satyam. How can you have a sanyoga with this anatma? It cannot be. But, well, you think that you are this, right? So, basically, you identify with body, mind, sense complex and say, I am this. And therefore, that is called dukkha sanyoga. Viyoga should take place with this dukkha sanyoga. Anujvara should go. They will have a jvara. They are limited, I mean. They are limited. But you do a viyoga with this. Dissociation in terms of a clear understanding, discriminative understanding that it is anatma, etc. So, anatma sambandha jvara na vikshe, we have to say like that. So, basically, so na vikshe, I don't see, I don't transfer. The jvara, the limitations belong to anatma, to one myself. So, if they are transferred to myself, well, that is anujvara. But now I know. So, samsarikam dukkham na vikshe. Where, so this all forms of dukkham which belong to anatma, I don't see where Atmani, we have to supply this because whole thing is not there. Samsarikam dukkham Atmani navikshe. I don't see in Atma. When? Adya, now. Now means what? Jnana kale. Now when I know this, who am I in reality? What is fact about me? Well, I am whole. And therefore, well, I don't commit now any mistake because I have gained knowledge. I have gained knowledge of the entire Truptidi Prakranam, Pancadasi. So, Swasya Ajnanam, Adhyasa, etc. Palaitam Kwapi. It has disappeared somewhere. So, it has you can't say where it has gone. From somewhere it has come, and now well it has gone somewhere where we don't know, because it is mithya. Very first thing is whether it was there or not to begin with. That is a question. So if Ajnanam was there or not, no Swamiji, Ajnanam was there. Ajnanam is an existent entity. That's how I said I am a jiva. Shastra says you are Brahman, but I say I am jiva. Therefore there is Ajnanam. Okay, Ajnanam exists. Ajnanam is Sat. Okay, if it is Sat, it should not go. Trikalepi abhadyam. It should not go. No, it has gone. I say danyoham, danyoham. So, Ajnanam is Asat now. Oh, if Ajnanam is non-existent, then, well, how did I miss this? Atma is self-evident. Self-evident Brahman. How can I miss it? It is self-existent also. How did I miss it? But I missed. Therefore, Ajnanam is there. No, Ajnanam is not there. Danyoham. What is this? Sadasat Vilakshanam. Sadasat Vilakshanam Mithya. So that is how this, we can't talk about the source and disappearance and etc. of Mithya. There is no source. Ajnanam does not have a beginning to, right? And therefore, when I am born, I was ignorant. That's it. I don't know from where it has come. Anyway, so this Anatma Dukkham I don't transfer to myself. Atma. 294. Danyoham kartavyam mena vidyate kinchit danyoham praptavyam sarvamadya sampannam. So as such repetition of verse 291, Vidyaranya said in this verse, so Jnani said, me kinchit kartavyam na vidyate. I don't have any sadhana to be done for moksha prapti. If Jnani Grihastha is there, he is doing Nitya Naimittik karma, and still he says this. So he may be doing Nitya Naimittik karma, he may be, even Jnani Sannyasi also may be there, and he may be doing some Loka Sangraha also. So, and then, but still, definitely, well, and we should know this, of course you know very well, but I am just reminding you, because there is no agami. We should understand karma has a twofold phalam, drashtam, adrishtam. Jnani definitely has a drashta phalam. Jnani does not have a adrishtam. That much we should know. Adrishtam cannot be there, because adrishtam means adrishtam has to search. Adrishtam has to search the doer, right? There it has to fructify in the doer. Now it is an enjoyer now. Where is doer? Doer is not there. So adrishtam cannot be. That's how sanchita also goes away. Sanchita means all adrishtam, punya papa. That also goes away. Agami also goes away. But the prarabdha is there. So drishtaphalam is there in terms of sukham, dukkham, etc. It will be there. We should understand this. So then Tattvabodha will say, oh, so Jnani does not have, he does so much punyam, right? He may be doing Nitya Naimittik karma, he may be doing Loka Sangraha, lot of things he may be doing. So it may be generating punyam. Then where will it go? There is a law of karma and all this, they say like that. The Tattvabodha, the author says, it goes to the person who serves him, who praises him, etc., etc. And one who censures, well, definitely, his papam also can go. But Swamiji, how can you do papam? You know, unknowingly the papam can be there even for Jnani. I mean, for Jnani means papam can be generated in. How? Suppose he takes a bhiksha. Well, and that bhiksha has been given by some person who has earned money. on all wrong ways. So he is though become a part of that papam. Then papam should come to him. No, he since he is not a doer and therefore not an enjoyer, this adrishta papam cannot come to him. It goes to the person who censures, etc. They say, but basically it goes to samashti. We should say this much, because the doer is not there. When the account holder is not there, where the money will go? Well, government will take a samashti. So we have to take that way. That way. Yes. No, karma should generate. Somebody argued so much for this. Karma means karma phala will be definitely there. Avashyameva bhoktavyam, this. Correct. Good karma, but definitely let us, for the sake of saying, well, it has generated punya papa, it goes to samashti. Where Sanchita has gone? That's what I asked him. Where is Sanchita? Sanchita is burnt. Where is ash? Where is ash? Where is ash? It goes to samashti. What does not belong to the vyashti goes to samashti. That's it. Simple law. It is there in our in every country, may be there. When no one to claim any property or whatever, then government takes away. It goes to their possession. That's how it is. So anyway, if somebody says no karma's laws and these and etc., well, okay, goes to samashti. His sanchita merges into ultimately samashti. Samashti means where? In Brahman, Maya, where ultimately everything comes from there. There are samashti karmas and vyashti karmas. Samashti, vyashti karma, jiva, samashti karma and vyashti karma. So samashti, it goes to samashti. You have to take it that way. Nothing gets destroyed. We should know. Nothing gets destroyed, turns to ashes. No. So far as these karmas are concerned, well, there is no account holder here. Now the doer, enjoyer is not there, so it goes to samashti. We have to take, that's a safer way of saying. Anyway, so, here, so make kinchit kartavyam na vidyate, nasti. I don't have any kartavya. And so danyoham praptavyam sarvam adya sampannam. Whatever is praptavyam, whatever has to be attained, sadhyam. Well, adya sampannam, I have already accomplished. Praptam, mission accomplished. So first line you can say, first line removes the sadhana centered anxiety. And second line removes the sadhya centered anxiety. There is no sadhanam, no sadhyam. If in our mind something is sadhanam, something is a sadhyam, then anxiety pertaining to both in fact will remain. And therefore, he is free now. 295. All this is under our seventh stage, Trupti Prapti. Shoka Nivrutti we have already discussed. This is Trupti Prapti. So he himself expresses his Trupti, his satisfaction. Dhanyoham truptehe mekopama bhavel loke dhanyoham dhanyah dhanyah punah punardhanyah. So, Jnani basically compares with others who are kartas and karma yogis. Well, they get a joy. They get joy. And that is, so we say relatively, karma yoga also gives you a joy. We know very well, by serving someone, we get some kind of a satisfaction. It is quite different from the sensual pleasure, because our senses we have not employed in gaining a desirable object and enjoying. Still we are getting a satisfaction by doing something outreaching, by doing something good. So they also have a joy. They have a happiness, sukham, but they all get this pratibimba ananda. They don't enjoy this kind of a trupti. They could not say this dhanyoham. Even if they say perhaps, well, next day they will repent for their statement. But they say, because they don't know actually the limitation of the ananda. That's how they get ananda, but they don't know the limitation of ananda. They have an experiential ananda. So what are the limitations of this ananda? Well, they are temporary, as I told you. And subject to gradation also, priyamoda, pramoda, etc. And subject to particular yoni also, yeah. That is what Ananda Mimamsa. A single person in a human life, I may gain a experiential Ananda which is a simple, which is a little more, I become ecstatic in experiential Ananda, or else compared to Manushya, Manushya Gandharva, etc. Higher and higher Ananda. That is Ananda Mimamsa. That also is there. So anyway, experiential Ananda will always have this Taratamya, subject to gradation. They are temporary also. And they see the superior joy of others naturally. And when they see the superior joy of others, the Danyoham sentence, they will take it back. They swallow. They lose that trupti. So this is the thing. Jnani does not lose this trupti. Purnam and Nityam. Because it's a Sarupa, which will never go. So Jnani says, well, what comparison is there for this Nitya trupti? Me truptehe ko upama loke bhavet. Well, what is there to compare with my joy? There is nothing to compare. In ordinary world, there is Satishayatva we call. Satishayatva is this comparison, degree, gradation. And people actually would sympathize with this person, because they see this person from outside. So they don't know what is his condition. Like, let us give an example, let us take an example of a sannyasi who maybe what joy he has. Most of the people really, they always sympathize with the sannyasis because their dress is always one, single color. I'm just saying. And then, well, definitely they don't have a wife, source of joy. They don't have a children's children. They don't have. They cannot go to any restaurant. They cannot keep much money. Well, they cannot go to film to see the movie. They cannot go to park. Anywhere they go, they will be criticized. Only they can go to the temple. That's it. And therefore, and this is a situation day in and day out. 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And still you find he is more free compared to a samsari who has all these things around. Therefore, that shows that, well, this satishat, the joy born of experiences, will not last long. The joy which is born of this knowing oneself, being aware of oneself that one is whole, that joy will never go. That freedom will never go. So he sympathizes with the people. People sympathize with him. He sympathizes with the people that these people don't know what is really the happiness. What is wholeness, they don't know. Anyway, verse 296. Aho punyam phalitam dhrudam asya punyasya sampattehe aho vayam. Aho punyam. Punyam, that I must have done some great punyam. Well, that has launched me into a status of a jnani, or that has given me the jnani. So instead of keeping me a jnani, well, definitely, this punyam means grace. That's it, nothing else. Ishvara's grace, pure grace. Puja Swamiji's word, one I remember, is not just grace. He never used word just grace. Pure grace. See his statements. Pure grace. More you get clarity in this pertaining to the oneself, more you see the grace. You don't see more ahankara. Why? Ahankara is going, sir. Then only this joy can come. Okay? So therefore a sense of limitation should go. And therefore role of ahankara becomes less and less. That's how Puja Swami says, ultimately for a jnani, what remains is a Ishvara alone. And therefore, tat punyam dhrudam phalitam, all that punyam clearly fructified into this path. So, here we can even take karma yoga punyam. Religious life has definitely, as again I remind you, the word of Puja Swami is tapping the grace. The religious life basically helps you in tapping the grace of Ishvara, which will ultimately leads to jnanam. So, karma yoga punyam done in this janma or previous janma, whatever it is, dhrudam, Means tat punyam dridam phalitam. Well, all that punyam, born of this karma yoga, etc., dridam, completely, phalitam, fructified, and the result is visible. What is the result? I joined the musical band, and therefore, Bahu, this is a song. We will also sing one day. Don't worry. Bahunam Janmanam, all have, well, this ultimately fructified, cumulatively fructified. Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma So Durlabha, etc. Anyway, so Aho Vayam, we are indeed great. Aho stands for here this joining the musical band. So surprise. Oh, indeed we are very great. Indeed we are very great. Punyasya sampatte, because of accumulation of this punya, ultimately we have gained this knowledge. 297. Aho shastram, aho guruhu, aho jnanam, aho sukham. So credit of this should be given to whom? Now that's a question. Thanksgiving should be for whom? So Thanksgiving is coming. That's for whom? Well, because it's a successful event and therefore credit should be given. First credit was given to myself in verse 296. Aho punyam, aho, right? What a punya I might have done. So first credit has been given to oneself in verse 296. Next credit, aho shastram. Great indeed is this shastra. Great indeed is this mirror. Great indeed is this mirror which has shown me what I am very clearly. What I am is shown me very clearly. The shastra is pramana, is very clear. So without punyam, person cannot even come to shastram. That we know very well in Vivek Chudamani also, it has been told very clearly. Even the contact with the shastra also. And then there is a shraddha in the shastra, a favorable condition in the mind by which whatever is there in the shastra, you say it is valid. So validity in the means of knowledge is shraddha. And therefore, ultimately, so second credit he gives to shastram, aho shastram. Then aho guruhu. Oh, wonderful indeed is this guru. Aho jnanam. And so with shastra and guru, well, this great jnanam. Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam. Rajavidya. This is the queen of all these vidyas. So, and as a result will be what? Aho sukham. Well, ultimately, trupti. Well, I am totally satisfied. I have nothing to do in my life. I have gained the goal of the life. So with this, our seventh stage of spiritual journey, trupti prapti, because of which this chapter is called Trupti Deepa Prakaranam, that seventh stage also is over. Verse 298. Trupti Deepamimam Nityam Yenu Sandadate Buddhaha Brahmanande Nimajjantaha Te Trupyanti Nirantaram. Now the meter has changed. So Buddhaha Imam Trupti Deepam Nityam Anusandadate. Jnani regularly dwells upon Imam, this Trupti Deepa chapter, 7th chapter. They always dwell upon it. They always relish this chapter. Me Brahmanande te Brahmanande nimajjantaha. And then, well, what will happen? They will be immersed in Brahmananda. They enjoy the fulfillment, they enjoy the wholeness, fullness, continuously. So Brahmande nimajjantaha te trupyanti nirantaram. They all the time enjoy this fulfillment, the wholeness. So indirectly Vidyaranya says, well, this Trupti Deepa Prakarana Anusandhanam should be done. You should do Anusandhanam of this. Anusandhanam means you can go through this, and again you can go through this till you also immerse yourself into this Brahmananda. Brahmananda, not Brahmanaha Ananda. Brahmaiva Ananda. Iti Brahmananda. Brahmaiva Ananda. There is no Ananda other than that. Brahman alone is Ananda. The wholeness, fullness, limitlessness is this Ananda, which is one's own self. ॐ पूर्णमिदः पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ